I'm going to show you how to make some really cool stuff really cheap. Look at this. This is a laser array. Now it's daytime, so I'm not going to fire it up right now, but look at the detail in these parts. Now I'm kind of a crazy guy inventor, so I got a lot of weird stuff laying around. Like for example, this glass tube is plexiglass, 6-inch diameter. And I threw together a bunch of junk I was trying to figure out what to do with, and one of which was a building set that I had from the 80s, which by the way is not junk. And I'm a big fan of Jules Verne, H.G. Wells, Time Machine, you name it. And I've always loved the look of brass. Again, this has two lasers, laser arrays I should say. This actually has two lasers in it, and then this has a full array. This is an RGB down here. And they pivot. They're motorized. They're all controlled by this. In here are a series of mirrors and dichroic filters that move back and forth. These also pivot. I'll show it to you tonight. Anyway, here's a nebula projector I put together. Look at this thing. You know? I mean, it's absolutely looks like brass. I don't know if you can see it there. And this particular device fires out laser nebula onto a ceiling or into trees. It's a nebula laser along with a starburst. There's a green star laser in here too. Real cheap. You buy it at Spencer's. I think I paid $100 for it. And then you just start attaching Robotix. However, you gotta brass everything. You gotta make it look brass. I'll show you what paint to use in a while. But you can put this together like this device here. If you walked up to it and I didn't tell you any better, you'd say, well, that's worth like $5 grand. The reality is, I put this together for about $200, and it's all because of this stuff. Originally made by Milton Bradley. He used dinosaurs and stuff. It had a Saturday morning cartoon along with it, futuristic cartoon, and I mean they really went balls out to try and promote this. And the set itself is dynamite. There, let me see if I can show you. Most of these parts are used. Here, look at these. These are servo motors, and with these things, you can do incredible things. You can make elevators that ride up the side of something, and you can make things that walk and crawl and whatever. But for the steampunk genre, you can put together something like this and for seriously $200. And I'm advocating you do it yourself because these parts are all for a good cause. The company is now owned, what I believe, I'm not 100% sure, by a single individual. And he does project camps for kids with this stuff and whatever, and he's all by himself. He doesn't have the PR money anymore. His name is Neil at Robotix and things. And it's plastic, don't kid yourself. But you mix it with other things, and once you get the right paint, you paint everything same color. For example, this up here is a flying saucer model. This thing in the middle, it's part of a blow dryer. I put dual bearing sets on here because this is like a work in progress. It's not finished. I'm going to have RGB video projectors on here too, which I'm working on. But anyway, I go overboard with stuff. You could take something real simple like this, and I got a project downstairs I'll show you that's even simpler. I'm doing a set of Bose speakers for my PC or my iPod, and normally I use them when I use that speaker setup when I'm doing this, when I'm using the lasers. I mean, look at this. I mean, if this isn't H.G. Wells, come on, what is? I mean, it's a beautiful deal. I'll show it to you fired up tonight. I apologize for the shitty lighting. This is an impromptu kind of promo I'm doing. Anyway, this will give you an idea. Look at that. Come on. And this base here is an old CRT base from the 80s computers. Remember when monitors weighed like 300 pounds and they were the size of 3 cube cinder blocks? That's what that's from. So I saved that from the garbage. And look, you accent it with brass. You put the real brass handles, right? Okay, so what? That cost me $10, $6, I don't know. And then the Robotix, and with the right paint, I am telling you, it looks like brass. And people come in and they see this damn thing sitting around, and they're like, I've literally had people say to me, where the hell did you get that thing? And basically, Robotix. Anyway, long story short, the kit was a little difficult for little fingers to put together and then pull apart. I being in my 30s or late 20s, I think, when I started buying these. And they were hard for me, and they're still hard. Sometimes you put them together, man, it's real difficult to get them apart. And I think that's a big part of why they didn't work that well with kids. But, if you've got a little bit of creativity, go to Robotix and things on the web, help Neil out, buy some stuff, make some steampunk, and support the kids with science. Some pieces, got some stuff drying. But the fact you painted them is actually giving them extra life. And what better life to have than a device like this? Steampunk. Well, if I'm adding RGB lasers to the smaller unit, which is basically the sound unit, gotta have some good feet. So here's the feet. I mean, look at these things. That ain't H.G. Wells. I don't know what it is. It's an example of what it does. They'll project a nebula up into the trees I have in the backyard. Actually, anywhere on the wall. And the nebula does change, it morphs. And outside at night with the trees, it's beautiful. Anyway, there you go. Steampunk nebula projector made out of Robotix. Give me a call. See what I mean about Robotix? It's like instant steampunk, you could take a toy gun or an air gun, in this case, and add one simple piece to it. And next thing you know, you got a steampunk weapon. How cool is that? Come on. Alright? Neil at Robotix.com, or I'm sorry, Robotixandthings.com. So here we are. We're almost at the final product. Top, we've got 2 RGB laser arrays, which I'll show you later what those are all about. But this is like steampunk to the end. get the drift now, right? Thanks to Florence and the horror for the background soundtrack. But yeah, you know, if you're gonna have a laser, definitely have one. Once again, thanks to the horror